I don't want it ever to be forgotten. Honor the people who died for freedom.
During the invasion of Poland in 1939 that sparked World War II, Nazi Germany and the Soviet Union took the lives of hundreds of thousands of Polish civilians, mainly Polish Jews. In the following years of their occupation, millions more of innocent lives would perish at their hands. Sam Solasz was only 11 years old when the Nazis invaded the city of Białystok. Before the war, the city's total population was 107,000, over half of which was Jewish families.
I was born in a little town outside Białystok. I was the youngest in the family. And my father was also in the meat business. I used to go to the slaughterhouse with him. That's what I learned from watching and doing it. Our brother, he was a singer. When he was singing in a theater, and there used to be chandeliers, the chandeliers was ringing. Such a voice he had. And I lost them all.
When I was growing up, World War I was behind us and World War II was not yet on the horizon. The grown-ups undoubtedly knew of the Weimar Republic and the growing power of Hitler, but we kids were in our cocoons. Our town was also a very Jewish place. Poland has always been the biggest Jewish population in Europe, and our culture was deep.
The Germans arrived, they collected from the entire community, and they put them inside. And they closed the doors, the windows. Then they started breaking the top windows and throwing in fire bombs and burned the house. Anybody stood in the window, they shot them down, they fell back inside. The synagogue was burning for 2.5 days, and the sky was red like a fire. I was standing with the Virgin Mary on my neck. I couldn't say anything, not a single word, otherwise you would be inside. Not me, and not nobody. Maybe 100 people were standing on the sidewalk just watching. I know people who were burning inside. I know people who worked afterwards helping cleaning up. Between 2,000 and 3,000 people, they lost their lives there.
Almost immediately after the Germans brought the temple down, they undertook building the Białystok ghetto. Altogether, there were over 1,000 ghettos in German-occupied territory. At the time, we didn't really grasp what a ghetto was or have any idea what living in the ghetto would be like. Once the Germans started building the ghetto, it didn't take them long. They had quite a bit of practice. They simply carved out a run-down section of the city and moved out any locals who were not Jews. They then surrounded the whole area with high fences topped with barbed wire. They installed gates in certain places and guardhouses and shoved in every Jew they could find. It was unbelievable how fast they worked. But then, I suppose, they had the whip at the hand of the Fuhrer at their backs.
It's all new buildings. Everything was chopped down. Right now, we near the gate was to enter the ghetto. Gate number 1, right over here. My business was to get shirts, shoes, and going outside in exchange for food and bringing in 3-4 times a day. They used to call me the Malach, the angel, because people were starving from hunger. It was very difficult to go in and out. I already lost my entire family, so I didn't care. Life was like a feather. The Jewish people outside the ghetto didn't have any rights to walk on the sidewalk. They had to walk in the middle of the street. If you caught them walking on the sidewalk, you got 10 lashes. And I always walked on the sidewalk. I never looked backwards, always forward. If I saw a German standing, I walked straight towards the German without fear. This made me like I'm not guilty of anything. And later on, after I picked myself 2 partners, the inside guys, was much easier for me. And I was the outside man, so I only brought towards the fence, and I throw it over or under the fence, and everything was running smooth. In 1942, they brought to a camp, an army camp in Białystok, over 35,000 Jewish people. I was in this camp for 19 days. From this camp, they used to load them on freight cars and take them to Treblinka, to the death camp.
The Nazis had marched us from the ghetto in a long line, 4 people across, to a field beside the train tracks. Their plan was to let us rot in the field, if need be, until the trains returned from Treblinka to pick up the next group of us. Just as we got to the field, an older Jewish man fainted, overcome by heat, and 2 Ukrainian guards pointed their rifles at me, shouting to me and another kid to pick the old man up quickly and walk him over to where most of the people sat on the ground.
I couldn't carry him, so the Germans hit me with a boat. So I remained lying. So he walked away and he shot the man. We are in a deep forest, a place which taken out the people out of the ghetto. Was no room on the trains, and they give them a order, get rid of them. All women, 5,500 of the Białystok ghetto. So they brought them in to this forest they call Pietrasza, because the echo from screaming when people dying, the Germans, Ukrainians, and Lithuanians, they were afraid for uprising. So they take them deeper so nobody can hear. And after they buried, they throw them in, the rest they were shooting in the back of their heads, and they buried them too, so no evidence could be proven. This is the spot, and this is the 5,500, the last. They load us up on a train, easy, 150 people in each freight car, like sardines, 14, 15 kilometers from Treblinka before. And when we came to a station, the train slowed it down. So I jumped. I was running, so a bullet went just to show it, made me a hole. But I ran, and I had shooting, and a lot of people died. I asked my brother to jump with me. I begged him, and he did not move. He was with his girlfriend, and I never heard of them. A farmer came to pick up the feed from the fields, and he punched me with a fork. I was inside sleeping. The guy asked me, "What are you doing here?" So I said, "I jumped from the train from the opposite direction." So he said, "What are you going to do?" I said, "I'm looking for work." So he said, "Somebody needs you badly." I knocked on the door, and I said the Polish prayer. She said, "Are you hungry?" They didn't know I was Jewish with the Virgin Mary on my neck, and they gave me right away to eat. Then they said, "What do you know how to do?" I said, "I know everything. This is the farm for 11 months. Give me shelter, give me life, and give me everything where I am today." We walked in a field, and I showed it to the son. I knew better than he did on this farm. And they liked me like a brother or a son. Better cannot be treated the way they treated me. I made 90% the farm grow better than it was before as a kid. And this is the forest, the big. We used to escape right into the forest. And over there, with a big rock, was opposite a hole, prepared in case they come to the front. We escaped to the forest. When the bombs from the Russians was pushing the Germans, I didn't say nothing. I just took off. When I came to the United States, the same day I got off on a ship, I find a job. He asked for butchers. I raised my hand. And I had the job for 6.5 years. They hired a man to become a foreman. I lent him $20. So I said, can I get my 20? I gotta go over to the bank. I gotta make a deposit. Just like this, I said to him. So he says to me, it's too bad Hitler didn't come and kill the rest of you over here. I said, what did you say? So I grabbed a knife and I ran towards him outside. I said to the cops, I'll kill him. And I went upstairs and I said, I'll leave, I quit. The day I quit, the same day I started a business. The Holocaust gave me more courage. In '57, in August, I started my business. Roughly by a year later, some people from the mob come to approach me. They wanted a piece of the business. I refused it. A week later, over the weekend, they burned my door down. 6 months later, after this coincidence, 2 men shows up with a suitcase with money. So when I looked at them, I ran over and there was a machete laying on a block, and I grabbed the machete, so they ran away. So here I am today. From one truck, today we have close to 30 trucks. I enjoy it. I leave my house 8 o'clock evening, and the following day, between 1 and 2, I leave like 17, 18 hours a day. I'm observing and I'm still learning from young blood. It doesn't matter how much I know, I still can use more and more education. I'll never retire till I'm forced to retire. They offered us $75 million for the place. The place is not for sale. People offered me to go on the stock exchange and everything. I don't need no stock exchange. We are the stock exchange. This business means to me, I achieved my goal where I lost my family, and if my family would be here, they would be very proud of me for becoming a success. They would be in heaven to see what I do. And maybe I'm here to make it up.
Perhaps the entrepreneurial spirit within Sam was sparked by the devastation of the Holocaust and losing all his loved ones. And perhaps it was in building something of his own.
We keep on growing, my 2 sons with me.
His drive to create a legacy lifted him out of the darkest corner of humanity and opened the doors to possibility.
I'll better make $1 my own instead to go for somebody to make them 5. I don't want people to keep bossing me around.
Maybe it was his compassion to help others that kept him going.
All my life, I'm trying to help people who cannot help themselves.
Or perhaps he knew that one day he would need to tell his story. A story of how unspeakable tragedies can't hold down the triumphant spirit of determination, and the story of the countless lives that perished at the hands of war.
I'm representing the 6 million.